This episode is brought to you by Heyday. Feeling stressed? Take a moment for yourself with Heyday. Stroll through rows of golden wheat, tend to cute barnyard animals, and discover the joys of a digital farm retreat. You don't have to hop in a car or catch a plane. Escape to the farm at the tap of a finger. With Heyday, you're not just tending to a farm, you're tending to yourself. Heyday. Search Heyday, that's Hay space DAY, in your favorite app store. Heyday is a free-to-play mobile game and offers optional in-app purchases and random rewards.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
She was a fairy. She was a fairy. Y'all, are we running an intro? I mean, we could try. Just kidding. Cut it. Something. You need to cut it. I don't even know what the sound is. Thank you so much for your time and your patience. This podcast episode is going to set the mood for the rest of the podcast. The next 5 to 6 podcast episodes. Little to no trying, little to no editing, a little unfiltered moment, if you will. A girl is tired, a girl is depressed, and a girl needs to stop trying. Oh my God, what TV show is that? Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. A Girl Has No Name. What? Oh my gosh, Game of Thrones. I need to pick up the 3rd book in Game of Thrones. I'm only reading the books for Game of Thrones because, season 8. Let's not talk about her. No, we should talk about her, but I kind of can't because I have myself under a thick blanket trying to mute out outside world sounds, and a girl can't breathe. No, but this podcast episode is going to set the tone for the rest of the podcast episodes coming up for the next 5 to 6 weeks because I'm tired. It's not even on time. I changed my schedule to every Wednesday. And let's be honest, for the 5 years that this podcast has been running, next month is going to be my 5-year anniversary of Distract Me Please. Are we excited? No. I kind of want to be target practice for a gun range. I'm sorry, but that is my truth. That is my truth, and I am so brave for sharing. But that is how I feel. Because life has been lifing. I thought starting this podcast would be me being able to document my journey of the best years of my life, me following my dreams, me accomplishing my dreams. But instead, this podcast has caught some of the darkest moments of my life. I haven't fully come on here and, dissected every little thing that's happened in my life. Because there was one point where I came on here and I was just like so brutally honest and open and sad on the internet. And it got to the point where it was like kind of embarrassing. Not even finna lie to you guys. It was kind of embarrassing because it was like, oh my gosh, every time I hop on this podcast, it's called Distract Me Please. And I can't do nothing else but like boo-hoo about my life. And like that was like, are you not embarrassed? And I was, because I was hoping to start this podcast to be able to prove to people you can do it, you can have hope, you can be resilient. And I wasn't feeling resilient in my life. And that's back to where I am right now. And so I'm not even going to listen to this back. This is why I'm listening in real time as I'm literally recording this on gamer headphones on my bed at 11:26 p.m. at night. This is a wild time to be recording this. You know what? I'm trying to force a full circle moment, and let's not even, but we can talk about it though. It's May 8th, 2025, 11:26 p.m. May 9th, 2024 is when I graduated from college. So I'm officially 1 year graduated in a couple of hours. Well, I mean, in a couple of minutes technically, but like if we really want to go down to the time that I graduated at 9 in the morning. So like in a couple of hours, it's going to officially be, 1 year since I graduated college. And I thought 1 year post undergrad, I thought my life would be different. I am in the same place that I was exactly 1 year ago. That is a hard pill to swallow. That is a hard position to be in. I thought that I would be able to be. I'll put it this way: I gave myself exactly 1 year to move out of my mother's house. I don't even have income. I don't have a savings account. I mean, I do have a savings account that was only able to put a little bit of something something in there. But yeah, like I have not moved forward. In fact, because of the position that I was put in, I want to talk about it so bad, but I signed NDAs and I don't want to be in a position where I'm taking a few steps forward in life and next thing you know, boom, you know, things come crashing down around me because I wanted to come on the internet and talk about it, even though this person deserves to be dragged through the mud. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I was given an opportunity. I took that opportunity. I was so excited about that opportunity. I was on top of the world because it was my dream opportunity. And instead, that opportunity not only drains me, you know what? The opportunity even really drains me, didn't even drain me that much mentally. It was draining me financially. And that is a position, man. That is a position that I wish that on no one. You should not be given an opportunity to excel in life and instead that opportunity is taken from you financially, especially if that opportunity is not a pyramid scheme. Like if you're signing up for a pyramid scheme, hey girly pop, if you are even though it's legal doesn't mean you should do it. So if you're signing up for the Mary Kays and the Avons and all that, you know what? Low key follow your heart because if you start balling out and making money, hey, my bad. My bad. Let me let you take your coin back. Go ahead, talk your mess down in the comments if you will. Oh my gosh. Follow this podcast, rated 5 stars. I am 5 people away from having 100 subscribers on Spotify, and that is such a big deal for me that I could literally cry. I've also been very emotional as of recently. Yeah, when your life is falling apart, everything makes you cry. Happy tears, sad tears, angry tears. Like I think what it is that my emotions are on the edge every day. So like any extra heightened emotion just already puts me into like crying territory. And so yeah, I could literally cry from being like 100 people away. I mean 5 people away from 100 subscribers on Spotify. I need a lock in. Y'all Yesterday, I was explaining how my life has been, how I felt recently, how I've just been in a really hard transition period in my life. And I was explaining that to my friend Danny. Danny's been on the podcast a couple of times. Y'all can listen to some old podcast episodes. Very long time, oldest standing friendship. Like, ooh, we should build a monument in her name. Like, Danny, Brianna's longest standing friendship. Don't know why she's still here. Don't know how they still put up with each other. We've seen each other through a lot of things. Things that can never be talked about. um, but I was literally telling her how I felt, and she was like, "Girl, let's go to Barnes and Noble. I'm gonna buy you a book." And I started sobbing, like to the point where I literally had to look at her and be like, "Girl, hold on, I need to lock in. I'm gonna stop crying." Woo, what was that? Don't even know what that was. And I literally had to pull myself together because I was like, I cannot believe something like this just set me over the edge. And that's just basically how my life's been. Any little kindness that people are showing me, I have been sobbing because I feel like, girl, lock in. You better clear up those tear ducts. I'm not editing this podcast episode. We are doing unedited. But no, I feel like life has been beating me down so much lately that any bit of kindness that I am seeing, it is life changing kindness. I'm talking like if someone hands me $5, that is literally like just out of the kindness of their heart. That is genuine life changing kindness for me right now because of how horrible life has been to me. And it's like, girl, I don't even know how we got here, but we have no choice but to persist and genuinely, oh girl, lock in. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm hearing the cracks and the wavers in my voice. Absolutely not. But I don't know how we got here. I know me getting here is not my fault. It has been a bunch of things that are out of my control. And the only thing that is tying me to this earth, I'm not even joking with y'all. The only thing tying me to this earth is my loved ones. Because I genuinely, mentally am in a position where I am like, target practice for a gun range. What? Targets practice for a gun range. In fact, I'm gonna turn myself into a pinata.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
That's not funny. That's not funny. Let me not joke about things like this. That is not funny. Yes, it is. It's either I joke about it or I do it. Pick one, okay? You can't have both. I mean, you have to pick one or the other. Hopefully we don't have both. But you have to pick one or the other. Like, what? But yeah, like life has literally been beating me down. None of it has been my fault, but I've persisted. I've been resilient. Not by my choice, personally. Personally, because my loved ones have been like, girl, what are you doing? What are you doing? You need to get up and you need to go do this. Imagine imagine how hard I am like working to, and it's not even like live the life that I want to live my dream life. No, babes, I just want to like stop being in survival mode, fight or flight every day. Like, girl, I just want a job with an income to put money into my savings account to then be able to start apartment shopping, even if those apartments are in the hood. That is where I am at. I want the bare minimum and below. That is literally where we're at, girl. And like, it is not fun. But I did want to come on here. I wanted to tell y'all I'm good. I'm alive. We ain't have no schedule with this podcast, but when have we ever? And for my next 5 to 6 podcast episodes, it's going to be a lot of serious, unserious conversations. What do I mean by that? I want to do a little financial series. And I know I'm like, oh my God, I'm broke. And then I'm not sitting here trying to sound y'all, of course. Personally, I hate that, but I'm going to add my little 2 cents into the finance world of content because I love personal finance. It's one of my other hobbies. I enjoy it so much because one, not only are we missing a lot of education in America, I don't know when we took this U-turn with the idea of, actually I do know where it happened. It was so many of us being promised that if you went and got a higher education, you could better yourself. And so all of us went and got higher educations to better ourselves. And not just that, but there was also this focus on like, you have to go get a STEM degree. You don't want to end up having a quote unquote useless degree, which was just humanity degrees. And suddenly we're sitting in a position where we have a bunch of people who can do, basic math, but we don't know how to be kind to people. We don't know how to show empathy to people. Not just that, but I think there is being... Chelsea Fagan on the Financial Diet said it best. She made a whole video essay about the silent war, the silent class war, about how rich people and poor people, like, there has been this big divide in this country, and they're still trying to focus the divide against race, against gender, but that's not where that divide is happening. It is a silent class war. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. The wage gap between the rich and the poor is getting bigger. We're losing the middle class, and I know statistically, not only is the middle class disappearing, but the middle class, it's either you are falling below middle class into... What is below middle class? Is it poverty? I'm sorry. You're either falling into the lower class or you're going into the upper class. But we're losing the middle class in America, and this economy, I mean, America was built off the middle class, not from the richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor, but America's economy was good because we had a middle class, and we're losing them. And so I really want to come on here and I want to talk about financial things that have helped me not completely sink. Oh my gosh, what video was I watching where they were like, oh my gosh, it was a guy who was talking about how he's struggling with his bipolar disorder again and he's going back into the mental hospital, and he was like, but you know, it's okay because rock bottom, what is it? Rock bottom is where you stop digging. Rock bottom is not a place that you wait to get to, but rock bottom is where you stop digging. And I was like, damn, that's definitely a different way to look at it. You know, like your rock bottom could truly be anywhere, you know? Even though your rock bottom feels higher than someone else's, it's your rock bottom because you're like, all right, done. Let's pick ourselves up. We can't go any lower than this. And you like force yourself not to go any lower. And that's kind of the tone that my life has taken. Okay. And so I want to make a financial couple of episodes teaching the tips and tricks that have made me not completely drown, drip or drown, as Gunna once said. Um, because I think we are just missing so much education in this country, and one of them is financial literacy, and I think it's really going to benefit us with the way that, like, damn, get Money with Katie show. I will always reference these two women, Chelsea Fagan and Katie 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 Gossan Tossand. Dang, I never really paid attention to her last name like that, but it's something like that. But these two women have helped me understand money in a way of accept yourself where you are financially instead of how do I become a millionaire or a billionaire because that's the only way to survive in America. No, we can't all be billionaires because if we were all billionaires, then technically no one's a billionaire. Well, I mean, yeah. If we were all billionaires, huh? Technically, we could have a country filled with billionaires, but then the richest of the rich would be trillionaires, and then we would all just aspire to be trillionaires. Like the ceiling would just constantly be raised, is my point, basically. Like, we can't all be rich. We can't all be the top 1%. That's not true. We can't all make it. We can't all accomplish our dreams. And sometimes you just have to meet yourself where you are, and that is what I am currently working on in my life right now. But yeah, and so I want to add some financial tips and tricks that has helped me not drip or drown. That has helped me drip and not drown, if you will, in the point of life that I'm in. Because without it, without these simple money tips and tricks, I think I would be in a worse position. Because I mean, being completely blunt, I racked up over $1,000 in credit card debt because again, if you if you sign up to exchange your services for monetary value with someone, that work shouldn't turn into volunteer work is all I'm saying. But it caused me to go to be in over $1,000 in credit card debt, and I was able to turn that around in less than a month. And it was truly just pure financial literacy that helped me do that. Nothing else. Nothing else but financial literacy. I have still yet to miss a credit card payment. And I'm not talking like, oh, I'm just making the minimum payments. No, I'm talking about paying off that statement balance in full every month. I have yet to not clear out my statement balance every month on my credit card. And it truly is just financial literacy. It is nothing of like, oh, but you're privileged and da. Nope. It is not a place of privilege that has caused me to do this. I have done this with like me, myself, and I. Um, I mean, I think there was only one time that my mom has ever stepped in to like help me. No, there's been a couple of times, but it was never, Mom, I'm sinking and I can't do this and I genuinely don't know where I'm going to get the money from. But it was literally me holding on and collecting money anywhere that I could. And she knew, like, she was like, girl, you're unemployed. You don't get an income. You just have like lucky moments of like, oh, my podcast did really good this month. I got to Uber a little, get a little coin. Of maybe a family member handed me $40 because I went and helped them with something, and they were like, thank you, and monetary value. You know, it's little moments like that. So she'll literally be like, I know you don't have money, girl. What are you doing with that credit card? And I'm like, oh, paying it off in full this month. Why do you ask? And she'll be like, okay, how much money to pay off your credit card? And I'll tell her, and she'll be like, oh my God. And you have that? Yes, I do. And so she'll just pay it off for me to be able to like hold on to that money. So it's moments like that that have like helped relieve me. But those moments are few and far in between. Okay. They're once in a blue moon, if you will. And so it really has been, I want to acknowledge the privilege that I have in having a parent who's done that for me every once in a while, because especially, there was a girl who said it best, and I just told it to my cousin. She said she wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. She was living paycheck to Monday. Paycheck came Thursday. By Monday, paycheck was gone. And then she had to wait for her next paycheck. So she wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. She was living paycheck to Monday. And like, that is my life, babes. That is literally my life. I am living paycheck. Girl, I'm I'm living paycheck to next day. What? I don't even get the weekend. I'm living paycheck to next day. And so, I want to recognize the privilege that I have in having moments like that, having a parent who cares, being able to like have family members who hands me $10 here, $40 here. Again, not often, but like when you are in a position where you're living paycheck to next day, moments like that truly help you out so much. On top of the privilege of like, I get to live at home rent free. I don't have to pay for rent. I don't have to pay for bills. And so being able to live at home, that's a privilege in and of itself. And so acknowledging those privileges, but also not taking away like the accomplishment of financially, I'm in a horrible position. But due to my understanding of money, I have not put myself in a position where I'm like, ooh, I'm drowning. And so I just want to teach y'all a few tips and tricks. So this is going to be a series of like how to recession proof your finances for broke people, because damn, if I have to listen to another person who already is a net worth millionaire who makes six figures every year come on here and talk about, and I don't want to belittle them. I don't want to belittle them at all, because again, I love listening to these women. These women have changed my life. But listening to these people be like, I used to be broke. I used to be thousands of dollars in debt, but now I'm a millionaire. And they're not doing it to flaunt it. They're doing it to be open and honest about the privilege that they have. And they're like, yeah, I got here, but here's how I got here. Here's how I started. And they, tell it through antidotes. But I'm just like, damn. Can we have a broke person talk about it? Can we have like a broke person who's like actually in the struggle talk about it? Because like, I want to hear the emotions behind like, I actually can't afford to do this, but but I'm going to tell y'all what I would do if I got $50. If someone handed me $100 bill right now, and in fact, if you could, like, I don't know. I just want to hear it from the perspective of someone who's actually going through it and struggling, and not from someone who's looking back, grateful for the journey that they've gone through. And I say that because, nostalgia sometimes, like going back and be like, yeah, no, I was broke and I was doing this and doing this and doing this. Like, sometimes nostalgia makes things feel better than they actually were. But in the moment, like, yeah, that was painful. And so that's where we are. I can't believe I talked for 22 minutes. I thought this episode was going to be 2 minutes long max, because I was just coming in and be like, hey guys, I'm sad, broke, and depressed, but we're going to make podcast episodes about it, and I'm going to teach all about finances coming from a broke girl. This is not going to... I literally was like, this is going to be such a fun, cute little series that I'm like starting or whatever. But like hearing it come, like... Why do I want finance tips from a broke person? The algorithm is not going to take this and run with it, and I'm probably going to get like 6 views per podcast episode. But you know what? If it's what gets me out of bed, if it gives me a sense of purpose, then I'm going to do it, even though nobody listens to it. But anyways, I'm not even signing out. My social media in the show notes. Girl, I'm going to go read a book. My neck hurt. My dog's scared of the thunder happening outside. I was on the but before we do those podcast episodes, my cousin also wants to, you know what? Depending on how short the podcast episode is, we'll see where we put it. My cousin wants to film a little rant about the Met Gala and whatnot. He wants to talk about his Met Gala moment. And truly, my cousin just sometimes be sitting there like, you know what? I ain't got nothing better to do. Let me go on Brianna's podcast. Like, not you picking and choosing. Why can't you be on the podcast episode when I want you on the podcast episode? But that's besides the point. Yeah, I just called you out because I know you listen to this, Ben. I feel like every other podcast episode, I'd be like, and Ben, I'm calling you out. But anyways, that's all for now. Show's over. Bye. I need a new tattoo.